Been out to a wedding.
Yes.
And we were talking last week or a few weeks ago about Pearl. Pearl has a producer who is a Nigerian, who is very good. He's very good at his job. But she noticed, and they made jokes about the fact that he's always late. So he explained to her that I'm a Nigerian, therefore I'm African, and there's something called African time. Right? So she is explaining all this to us, and they're making a joke, and Nick Fuentes, future president, was there and joined in the joke, and all most of the guys were being late and stuff like that. So we're related to you who has an event. You have an event that you're attending, and they don't even put the time the event starts on it. And I was explaining my whole experience where even I, who had the event start time, I got clowned for arriving on time and sitting down there with people who are still arranging the place 10 minutes before time. They've not even done the security sweep for months. I'm not hearing you.
I said I didn't do something.
Okay, that's why you left?
Like, I don't understand. I was like 12 o'clock like this now. People are going to do come to work by 2 years. They're going to be the house.
That is true. Because, I mean, one of the weddings I remember going to was in Jos. It was important for us who were coming by road from Abuja to leave on time. You have to be a bit more considerate of people who are coming from very far places and have to travel very dangerous roads to go back home safely and on time. And that inability of us to say that an event is starting by 3 to start at 3 is like crazy.
Like, they just think that it's normal. Like,
right. So the issue with Pearl was that people were attacking her as racist, and she accepted. She said she's taking full responsibility for noticing that her producer, as good as he is always late. You're a producer. You are not even supposed to be late.
Yeah.
You understand? But they say, oh, she said she should have made the joke in front of Nick. But it's something that everybody knows. We all know we're Nigerians ourselves. Like, we know that if a program is to start by 6, it cannot start by 6. Nobody is going to come by 6. Everybody starts coming around 7. 8, correct.
9. Exactly.
Say, oh, 6. And we're the ones that put prompt. You know, we're the only ones.
10 a.m. prompt.
We're the only ones that put prompt.
Yeah.
Say 10 a.m. prompt. I've never seen prompt in Japan. There's no word for prompt in Japan. Because everyone understands that 10 a.m. is 10 a.m. whether you put prompt or not. What is the meaning of prompt?
In time, okay.
I beg.
Prompt means that's what prompt.
I beg.
Prompt means please. But the person understands that you still won't come.
Yeah, they know that you still, even they won't come. Even they won't come. The organizers don't come.
Oh man. So you guys know Steve now. Steve will do it.
Yes.
Someone we admire a lot on the podcast. And you know he's best friends with 6ix9ine. Yeah. You've seen the videos they've done together. There was one very nice video where 6ix9ine gave him a McLaren. A McLaren that is worth at least $500,000. And he said he has never driven the car. Just kidding. It's crazy. Anyways, 6ix9ine was in the gym and he gets jumped by 3 people.
Yeah.
Right? He's beaten, bloody, you know, and the video goes viral, and everybody, not everybody, but like black people, they're happy.
Snitch.
Right. It's because, I'm sure it's because it's 6ix9ine that they didn't kill him. You know what I mean? Like, it would have,
ended.
But his life was in danger. The way 3 people gathered him. I mean, how so?
You saw that video, right?
I saw the video now.
I don't know.
They tried to kill him. So my thing is, was it you he snitched on? And what really is snitching other than telling the truth? What was the snitching about? Okay, he was proclaiming that he associates with a gang, right? And something happened. They went and shot some people. And he said that yes, it's true, they shot some people. Because the rappers rap about shooting people, right? So 6ix9ine was saying that I'm talking about something that actually happened. You, these other rappers like Drake or whoever that have gun bars in their team, but never shot anybody. You've never shot anybody, but you're rapping about shooting people. Or I have the guns, I got the clip, or whatever. So you're calling someone a snitch for just talking about his lived experience? I don't understand that whole mentality. And there are people, I've seen people go on Vlad or all this place and say, even if somebody kills my mother, I would not snitch. The guy said it.
I promise you, it's just cap.
No, I understand that it's cap, but you are still putting that message out there that the justice system or whatever it may be, you are not going to participate. Somebody asks you a question, you're not going to tell the person the truth. And everyone is happy that this boy got jumped in the cowardly fashion, because that's how blacks attack, like wild animals in packs.
Yeah.
Right? The boy is in the hospital, 6'9", or he had to go to the hospital because his ribs would have been fucked.
Yeah.
You know, the way they were stomping him was really terrible. And what just stood out to me was the reaction, the glee and joy in seeing somebody being beaten like that. They're very happy about it. Yes, even the guys in the video were, they almost started dancing and stuff. So why do blacks take such joy and pride in violence? Then when another race notices and says, blacks are violent, they say, they're racist, they're slavery, they did things to us. Like, you celebrate violence. It's part of your culture. But because Nick Fuentes notices that you are violent, you start crying racism. It's strange and disingenuous. And then you have the white people who should be objective enough to speak the truth. They are now apologizing for noticing the truth. Like, I don't understand.
What if you knew what that?
Basically, really, where the truth is, where lies are the truth, and you're not supposed to say the truth.
They're not supposed to
say the truth.
No, by the time they preach it, by the time you say things you're not supposed to say, they're just off.
I say Joshua was a prophet.
Who?
Joshua.
Joshua was a prophet.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I think about prophecy?
Just not noticing patterns and.
Yes, like you're just seeing what is in front of you.
Yeah.
Because people were saying that.
But to see that, you have to take. You have to.
Yeah, you have to look beyond definitely what you're seeing, for sure. Which is what makes you prescient. But I mean, when Collins' book really came out and it was so big, Clarity, rest in power, a lot of people were commenting, they say, Collins' book is prescient. Right? His book is like predicting the future. His book is, it's like a revelation, it's prescient, that's what they use. And he said, no. The stories in the book are stories that happened. He is just able to connect the dots and say, look, in Chicago, Magnificent Mile, 500 black children going around, robbing people, entering stores, eating people's food, running away, attacking people. Yes, now, St. Louis, same thing. So he's connecting those dots.
Yeah.
So how can you say someone is prescient when he's reporting what is happening? You understand? And the things that are happening all over again. So George Orwell, must have seen something that allows him to write that 1984. He saw something happening now, and he said that by 1984 this is what is going to happen. That's why he called the book 1984, but he wrote the book in 1947. So what did he see? What was he looking at in the British society after the war? Okay, maybe he must have written during the war, because I think he was in the war. I think he was an army guy.
Exposed to a lot.
He must have seen things, yes, he must have seen a lot of lies. Right? Maybe the lies that the Jews are pretending.
So I this is a plan.
Right. Anyways, this issue of mental illness is an issue that just won't die. We've done some kind of report on it, but there's a story that I want to bring to your attention. It's about a guy in Ondo State, right? The headline is Ondo court acquits lunatic of rape and murder. So the guy was acquitted, right? So the issue is that he raped a woman, a housewife, raped her, killed her, buried her in a shallow grave.
Buried her in a shallow grave?
Which in our house?
No, he must like in a bush or something. Right? Yeah. So he raped her, killed her, buried her in a shallow grave. And during the trial, they led evidence. The mother came and said, oh, when he was small, he used to laugh for no reason. The psychiatrist came and said, oh, he gets angry for no reason. Right? And then the court said, oh yes, because of this evidence of the mentally ill, so we are quitting him. You know the strange thing? The court did not lock him inside asylum. They sent him back home to his mother. So he is not guilty and he is free. Even though he came to court and this is what he said. He said, oh, I was walking down the road and I saw this woman and I saw the way her buttocks were moving and I don't know what happened. I just became very angry and I went and raped her. I killed her because she shouted my name and I buried her in a shallow grave. He testified to this thing. He said these things in court and he is free. And the newspaper that carried the story said, oh, he's a lunatic. Why is he supposed to be in asylum? Why can't we hang him?
Kill somebody.
You said that. Do you agree with the asylum thing?
If he killed somebody, so that's why they have to kill him.
But the law says that you can't kill somebody that is insane. My question is why?
Why?
Can I answer the question?
No, the reason why like the thing is kind of sticking out to me is because I did a lot of work in looking at the insanity defense, and as you guys know very well, one, I don't believe mental illness is a real thing. Two, I don't believe mental illness can therefore be used as a defense.
Yeah.
Because
You still perform the action.
you still perform the action, there's evidence that you perform the action, therefore we don't care.
Yeah.
Because they said, your mental state must be correct for you to do the wrong thing. But how is that possible when there's something called strict liability? There are crimes that if you commit, whether you are sleeping, whether you are drunk and don't know what you are doing, you will face the consequences. They're called strict liability offenses, like traffic violations. If a mad person finds a way inside the vehicle to operate it and breaks the law while operating the vehicle, we don't care whether he's mad or not. So, for someone who rapes and kills somebody's mother,
so it's crazy enough to know where to put his penis.
do you understand? So I now brought out this story because
and she shouted his name and he was crazy enough to know that because she knows
he remembers, he recalls the entire incident, he recalls the way her buttocks was moving. He recalls the thing that caused him or that he believes triggered him to do his actions. Can a mad person record? They're asking you questions, you can narrate something that happened 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago, and you say you are mad? How are you mad? How are you a lunatic? How are you insane? You're not. Because you have clear mental capacity to recall, to recollect, and you're staying in court, you're standing in court, you are composed and answering the questions that are being asked of you. And you call this person mad, and you say, oh, he's not guilty.
Yes.
So that means the woman was not killed. She just raped herself, strangled herself, and buried herself.
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought this up is because I brought it up. Remember, those are guys now that came on the podcast, and we talked about how mental illness is in men. I now found this story and I now showed him. I said, this is what your type of thinking does. Read the testimony of this guy. Does he sound like a mad person to you? That he gets angry sometimes? Who doesn't? He laughs sometimes. Who doesn't? Sometimes I'll be by myself, I'll start laughing because I come up with something very, very funny.
Yeah.
So that means I'm mad. That means I can go and rape people and I can go home afterwards. Is that what that means?
Who's the lights?
Then I don't know. You now say, oh, I'm a manic depressive. Like it's like people like saying people like saying that is mentally ill. Because bipolar, his wife came out and said he's manic depressive, so he'll totally say that yes. Because Kim Kardashian said it on her Instagram, it means that it's true. Whether Kim Kardashian is a psychoanalyst or a psychotherapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or not. Because Kim Kardashian said it to her Instagram followers of 300 million, it means that it's true. Kim Kardashian was the one who declared that Kanye West is bipolar. That's why everybody believes Kanye West is bipolar. Nobody has seen a doctor's note saying that you are bipolar. Nobody said anything that, sorry, not Kanye West, Ye. Nobody has seen any doctor's note saying that Ye is bipolar. But the people who believe it got their information from Kim Kardashian. That's the fact. So she now says, oh, Ye is manic depressive. But that's the type of bipolarism he has, manic depressive. So,
That's the last bit to recite.
you understand? So I went online. I said, let me check what is manic depressive. You know what manic depressive is? That sometimes you'll be sad and sometimes you'll be happy. That's manic depressive.
I'm telling you, the one that is
Is that just a normal day in what is life?
the normal Nigerian station.
You can't be happy every time. You can't be sad every time.
That is manic. That is what manic depressive.
Everybody's like, oh, I have no depression there.
The judge in this case said that when he was doing it, he was of unsound mind. Were you there? Someone who can recollect that, yes, she mentioned his name, meaning that the woman knew him.
Recognize him. So you remember his own name?
You understand? The woman knew him, meaning that he killed her because she knew him and she would be able to identify him and she would be able to report him.
Yeah.
That's why he killed her. That's how it was.
Smart? Is that smart?
Exactly. And so say, oh, so the guy said,
I think the woman's on the other side of the
no. It's not the lawyer that is bad, it's the law.
It's the law.
Because I presented it to this guy. I said, oh no, that I'm complaining about how that I'm visualizing how the law should be. I'm going against how the law is. I said, listen to me. This principle of law saying that someone who is married should not face legal consequences came out in 1843. It is those rules, the Magnatin rules, that we are still applying today. Can we not? Can we not go back and look and talk about things like malingering, where a defendant may present himself as mentally ill in order to avoid criminal responsibility? It's a thing that people do. We discussed it many times of how people can get away with literal murder. Like this guy, even after committing a crime. People know what to do when they want to fake insanity. They know they can talk about Jesus. They can say, oh, I saw Jesus, oh, I'm shaking hands with Jesus. They know how to act crazy, and even in a way that a psychiatrist will be deceived. So they're arguing that, oh, I'm talking about how the law should be. You are the one who's supposed to be progressive, right? You're the one who's supposed to see the injustice. Is it justice for this woman's family that the man is free after raping and murdering somebody's wife, somebody's mother? And that's the problem with people who are so staunch and devoted to like the law as it is. They say, oh, because this thing on paper, this thing was written on the paper by a judge 200 years ago. Because that paper is there, we call it common law, right? So that means that it must be, life must be according to how it is on that paper. What about the justice that we see with our eyes, or the injustice? Isn't that crazy? That
I think it's just everybody's trying to prevent themselves from.
I think people are just too educated.
They probably disconnect from themselves from
the
truth.
Yes. We people like us are humble enough to just talk plainly as if we didn't go to school. You understand? As if we're not well educated, we're able to see reality for what it is.
Yeah.
But because he read a lot of books, right? So it's like, oh no, the book says that he must go home. Yeah, the book says that he must be. They say, oh, he will be held at the pleasure of the governor. That's what they all said. At the pleasure of the governor. Okay. Can you name 3 mental institutions in this country? Can anyone name 3 mental institutions? Name them. Just give me the 3 names of mental institutions in Nigeria.
Yaba left.
That's an Instagram page. That's not a mental institution.
I see Yaba's mental institution. Yaba left. What do they think?
It's called Yaba Left.
That's what I think.
That's an Instagram page, guys. Come on.
No,
I think it's a institution
that's the one.
Okay, that's one.
That's the one.
So the only mental institution everybody can remember or that knows of is in Lagos State, Yaba.
Yaba left.
So
the one in Abuja.
But so okay, let me ask them. What then is a prison?
It's a place for criminals.
What's the difference between a prison and an asylum? When you think about it logically, the objective of prison is to keep
the criminals away from
socially, criminals, right? Who are people who are violating the social contract of behavior, of morality, of expectations, right? Which is generally what mental illness is. We expect people to be clean. So any dirty person we see walking around, we presume him to be mentally ill. We expect people to be clothed. That's a moral expectation. You see a girl walking down the road naked, we assume she has gone mad. You understand? So mental illness is really just a violation of our social moral expectations, which is what criminals are doing, right? So it's very likely for us to call a criminal a mad person depending on the gravity of the crime. So when a father raped his 3-month-old daughter during lockdown, we call him crazy.
3 months old.
Yes, some of those stories happen. Maybe 3 years old, 3 months old, whatever the case may be. But I'm just talking about the gravity of the offense. Depending on the gravity, we ascribe a mental element, a mental factor, a mental illness factor to it. Right?
So
it's really just about our consternation against a gravely antisocial act. But they are all still crimes. And the law recognizes the fact that these people who are committing these crimes, let us put them in a place separate from the rest of us. Whether that place is a mental institution, called an asylum, or a prison, the principle is the same. They are held there against your will. Right? They try to reform you. They try to change your mindset.
Yeah.
Right? Churches, they go there to administer gospel. They go there to preach gospel to you.
Yeah.
They are trying to change your mind.
They are
trying to what they call it correctional something. They are trying to correct your mental state.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Yahoo boy or you're a bad person, all of you should be in the same place.
Yes.
Even within the same prison system, when you do something particularly grave, they separate you from the rest. They call it solitary confinement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why can't we carry the mad person and put him in solitary? Let him do his madness there. So, but in this case, they released the guy back to his mother, and the newspaper carried it and said, "Oh, the guy was acquitted of rape and murder." That was the end of the headline. We read the story, and they released him to his parents. The court told the prison authority to release him to his parents for medical care after raping and killing somebody. And someone wants to call that justice. So, I mean, we're just joking ourselves. We're joking ourselves big time.
Drop the EP, that legit. Top 5 in the city, competitions right here. All I know now, so miles no got no time. Slime, I got mad lines. Up tempo, make I catch my vibe. Yeah, look, chopsticks, yeah. Shout out Ice Prince walking, I'm giving my all to the art. 80% of my best from the heart. Me, I believe in being creative. I put in the time and I put in the work. I put on my tata, I give all to God. Trust in the process, believing in me. Everything calm in due time, guy. Wait for your time, make it no kind of rush. Yeah, me know they dog. I know people love. Roll up the love, make we touch on cloud now. I do it for the love and I do it for the city. Every J saying God, what? Me not a bad guy. Again.